let me tell you about the lenses that I've had so far. Let me run through them for you because I've had to write them down. There's that many. And I'm also going to tell you how I rank them 1 to 10. This is purely unscientific. This is what I've had and how I rank them out of 10. The RF 16, 7. The RF 35, a hard 9. The RF 50, 1.8, one of the best and most underrated lenses ever. Awesome little lens. I rate that a 10 because it is just so useful. Light, fast, cheap, fast focusing, great for many things, including portraiture, landscapes, general purpose, walk around, awesome lens. If you don't have a 50, a compact 50mm lens, you got to get one. The EF 16 to 35, that's a 10. That's a brilliant lens. The RF 14 to 35, which is what I'm filming on now, I give that a 9. It should be a 10, but it suffers huge vignetting, which is not a big deal when you bring the images into Lightroom and you use a profile and it fixes all that. And in matter of fact, I think it's actually shooting wider than 14mm at the wide end. And when you apply the lens correction profile, it brings it down or brings it up to 14mm. That's the only reason I give it a 9. The RF 24 to 105. I've had both of them. I've had the f4L lens and I still have the slower version, the non-L version, which I sort of just keep in case I need something that versatile. I give them both a 9 because they're both pretty much as sharp as each other. One is weather sealed and faster and the other one isn't and it's slower. But they're both very, very versatile. The EF 100 macro, I give that a solid 9. The only reason I don't give it a 10 is because it's kind of a bit of a one-trick pony. Yes, you can use it for portraiture, for sure. A little bit long for portraiture. Brilliant for macro, of course, but that's pretty much it. The RF 70 to 200 f4, that is a definite 10 for me. I love that lens. It is compact, it's fast, it's sharp, it's a brilliant focal range, 70 to 200, so versatile, especially for landscape photography. Love that lens. The EF 100 to 400, one of my all-time favorite lenses, absolutely bulletproof. Built like a brick shithouse. Love that lens. Super fast, super sharp. When I say fast, I mean fast focusing, but super sharp. That is the lens that's responsible for getting me back into landscapes, which just sounds kind of weird. You'd think it'd be the 16 to 35, but no, it's the 100 to 400. Loved it. Then you've got the RF 100 to 400. I give that a solid 10 as well because it is incredibly competent and incredibly cheap. It is such a good bloody lens. And yes, it's not as fast as the EF version. It's not as fast as the RF 100 to 500. But damn, is that thing sharp and does it focus fast? And it's so light. It's so easy to carry. Like I said in my review, I've done a couple of reviews on that lens. Is the thing that is so brilliant about it, probably the most important thing that's so brilliant about it is because it's so light and compact, you can always carry it with you. It's not a burden in terms of space and weight. And then, of course, we got the RF 100 to 500, which is the beast that I was really lusting after. Now it's in focus. This is a beast. I love this thing. This is the EF 100 to 400 on steroids. So I've loved all of these lenses in varying degrees. Many of them, as you saw, I ranked either as a 9 or a 10. But 80% of my shots have been taken with the EF 100 to 400, a small smattering with the RF 100 to 400 because I didn't have it for very long, and now the RF 100 to 500. So why is that? Well, for my style of photography, the kind of photography that I do, I don't go into deep wooded areas very much at all. Most of my stuff is open territory, open vistas, distant hills, distant trees, that kind of stuff. So I like, and I need to be able to pluck out mini scenes within a distant scene. So a long lens is perfect for that. And I love being able to isolate a subject against a nicely blurred background, or to bring everything in together nice and tight, but have that depth of field separation between my subject and either the foreground or the background or both of those. So I love shooting with a longer lens. But as you'll no doubt figure out from the title of this video, there is a new lens vying for my love and attention, and that is the Canon RF 24 to 70. There are many things I like about it, which I'm going to tell you about right now, but I was hesitant to buy it because it makes logical sense to get the 24 to 105. It's got more of a focal range to play with. It's still, if you get the L version, it's still a weather sealed lens. It is very, very sharp. It's a very good lens. But if I'm going to go to 100, then generally I'm going to go much longer than that, go 200, 300, 400, 500 on a shot. So I thought I really would like a lens that covers the bulk of the lower end of the focal range, gets me into mid-telephoto, can be good for close-up stuff, and I want it to be really well made, and I want it to be really sharp, have beautiful contrast. I just want a really, really good lens to deal with the focal range that's below the 100mm of my most used lens, the RF 100 to 500. And so this 24 to 70 really seemed to fit the bill. Now, I've been using it for probably 2 or 3 months now, and actually it'd have to be longer than that because I took a break after Christmas. But so I've been using it a fair while, months, and it is a beautiful lens. Here are some of the shots I've taken with it. It covers all the most important perspectives in landscapes: wide, standard, and short tele. If you've got a high megapixel DSLR or mirrorless camera, well then the thing is, shooting at 70mm, you can still crop in nice and tight and get a very respectable image that you can still print quite large. Not that anybody prints their photos large anymore, but that you can still enjoy. By the way, let me give you an example of an image shot with this lens at 70mm and then cropped in. Here's a shot that I took recently at 70mm. And here it is, zoomed in and cropped 300%. It still looks fine, doesn't it? I'm a little bit weird when it comes to inanimate objects. I mean, I'll give you an example. When I bought my first set of Bowers & Wilkins speakers 30 odd years ago, the thing that I loved most about them at first was how they smelled. I know that there are a couple of other photographers who are kind of like this with stuff photography gear, and they like to give them the sniff test. I'm not like that with my camera gear, but I do love the feel of something that has been, well engineered, that has been beautifully finished. And I love the solid, beastly, serious feel of this lens. It just feels the business. So it's the same with the RF 100 to 500. I love how that feels. Same with the 50 1.2, which I would love to have. But instead I have to be happy with this little fellow, which is still very good. And the reality is a quality 24 to 70 will 95% of the time, it'll do the job with a level of technical perfection and compositional flexibility that few other lenses can match. It seems that it's just one of those kinds of lenses where the bulk of the manufacturers have invested some serious effort in producing something of extreme quality. So if you can get your hands on a high quality, fast 24 to 70 zoom lens from your manufacturer of choice, chances are it's going to become one of your favorite lenses, if for no other reason than it lets you get most of the job done with extremely high quality. Because unless you genuinely need ultra wide, it will serve the wide, mid, and telephoto ranges very, very well. And if you need to go longer, like I do, just augment it with a 100 to 400, 70 to 200, 70 to 300, 100 to 500. You really can get away with two lenses. I really think that the vast majority of landscape photographers can get away very comfortably with two lenses plus one supplementary. Those two lenses being something like this lens, a fast, high quality, weatherproof 24 to 70, augmented with something like a 70 to 200, 70 to 300, 100 to 400, or 100 to 500. It just comes down to how much reach you want for the kind of photography you do. Those two lenses are more than enough, because the thing is, if you need to go wider than 24, you can always do a pano. You can stitch together 6 images, 4 images, 9 images, and you can get your very, very wide vista if you want to. Now, granted, that's not always going to work in a situation where you've got moving subjects and alignment between those images is going to be difficult. But unless you know for certain that you're going to be spending a lot of time shooting in very close quarters and you need an ultra-wide lens, this lens and a short to long telephoto zoom lens is going to be all the kit you're ever going to need. And I said augment it with one lens, and that would be something like a 50 prime or a 35 prime. Just so you have something that is a nice little walk around lens if you just want to take one lens with you, but also particularly so you have one lens that is ultra fast if you want to get into dark areas, you want to shoot very late in the afternoon without a tripod, that kind of stuff. It's nice to have one really good quality, very fast prime lens. Clearly, this is not a technical review. I'm not here to tell you about all the features and the construction and the number of elements and all that sort of crap in this lens. Yes, it's got an autofocus, manual focus switch. Yes, it has image stabilization, which you can turn off. But aside from that, this is one of those Goldilocks lenses. It's not too wide, it's not too long, it's not too big, it's not too small. And the quality of the item itself and the images that it produces are enough to make it special. It's the kind of lens that really needs no excuses because it has no compromises. And for me, it's a 10. If you want to see a video about the kinds of lenses that I recommend for landscape photography, have a look at this video here on the right. And if you want to see a video about why I recommend using a long lens for landscape photography, check this one out on the left.